Man, it feels great to be a Duck.
Give it to me, baby. My house. I'm taking it there.
Third competitors, they'll want to put the O on.
Three, got it!
We're going to compete to a standard every day.
The Oregon standard.
Rebound. Up and in. 1 point more to go.
The opportunity to play, put Oregon on your chest, should mean a great deal to you.
Unloads on one into left field, back toward the wall. Gone!
This program is staged to compete and to win championships.
Oregon wins!
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, let's talk Oregon athletics.
Basketball game day after a basketball victory last night. We've got a lot to talk about. Postseason hoops continuing for both Oregon men's and women's basketball. Home weekend for Oregon baseball and Oregon softball, and a whole lot more going on. It's a busy time of year for Duck Insider. The month of March is always fun for me because as the winter comes to a close, winter term that is, it's finals week, then it's spring break. The first day of spring officially was yesterday. The spring sports are in full swing in conference action now. There's no shortage of things to discuss on a show that's all about college athletics every day. And I schedule Rob Mullens in probably like August. The Oregon Athletic Director is here, and I schedule these well in advance because otherwise your schedule's crazy. I mean, you know better than I do, but I know how hard it is to get on that calendar.
No, it is crazy, and as you said, this overlap is crazy. And by the way, I wish Mother Nature would realize that yesterday was the first day of spring.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. We've had some great weekends for some of our spring sports outdoors and some funky ones too. But that's part of it.
I was just talking to Jason Dillard over at Matthew Knight Arena this morning, Oregon Beach volleyball head coach. He's going to be on with us this week because they're hosting Corbin at 2:00, and he was like, wish we had done it today.
I know. Everybody's looking at 60 degrees. Yeah, I was sitting at a high school baseball game last night going, wow. Yeah, I was waiting for it to snow.
What's the Rob Mullens as a fan move at the high school baseball game? Are you put a blanket on the bleacher guy? Do you bring your own seat back? What's the play?
It probably depends, right? Each venue's a little different, but I really can't sit still. I'm kind of a move around. So I'm a little bit all over the place.
I'm that way too. Like I'm always fidgeting. People see me in the chair. Like here, I've got a stress ball. Would you like a stress ball to squeeze today? Rob. I mean, I'm the exact same way. I've got one everywhere on the desk. I can't understand the fan that sits exactly straight and doesn't move.
Right. And then when it's your kids in certain moments, it's hard to sit still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rob Mullens is here, so Oregon Athletic Director. It's men's basketball game day. The Ducks with a 5:30 pregame show, 6:00 tip-off, and it's just the fourth time in the last 23 years that a Big Ten team has played in Eugene, Oregon.
Oh, wow. I had not heard that. Yeah, so fantastic. No, great opportunity, obviously. Listen, we all start this year, particularly given where our programs are with the leadership that we have of that NCAA tournament experience, and that's the goal. But, when that doesn't work out for a variety of reasons, injuries, et cetera, and you agree to play in the NIT, and by the way, you have to agree before the end of the season. So, when you agree to do that, hopefully you're committed to it. And I'm very proud of the way both of our teams have gone into this and built some incredible momentum, played with great energy, and obviously are having some success.
6:00 at Matthew Knight Arena. The fans can make a huge difference, and I'm telling you, this is what the NIT, I think, really brings to the table that maybe doesn't get talked about enough, that if you earn the right to host in the NIT, sure, you want to be in the NCAA tournament, but it gives a few more home opportunities and some teams that don't always come to a place like Matthew Knight Arena. UC Irvine, we had seen them here before, but Central Florida – Florida's probably not going to make that trip unless it's for a postseason tournament.
No, and it's funny how our paths always seem to collide with Wisconsin in the postseason, particularly in men's basketball and football. But yet here's another chance to have what if this game were being played in November would
Right.
be, a 10,000 person crowd. And again, very similar paths, right? We both were right on the bubble till the end. Similar records. I think if you put either of these teams in the NCAA tournament, there would be an opponent on the other side of the bracket going, how come they got put into my bracket?
Right.
So an opportunity for a great basketball game, and we're excited to host the Badgers.
Yeah, the Badgers tonight, 6 o'clock. And then Oregon women's basketball with the win last night. They're going to play on Thursday in the WNIT, the Super 16.
Okay.
Well, that's what I'm told.
Great.
I'm
Awesome.
going with it. You
Yeah.
know, branding, we go with it.
Fantastic. Let's just keep winning.
Yeah, the Super 16, and then you're one of the last 8 teams playing for Oregon men's basketball in the NIT. So I'm looking forward to it because it gives another home opportunity, and it's a great billing. So the other 2 trivia for you. I had to double check this. So Matt Preem, our buddy from 24/7 Sports, he originally put this out, and I had to go back and look in the record book and look at the schedules. Twice Minnesota at Matt Court, and then Iowa in the NIT about 11 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Those are the only Big Ten teams that have ever come to Eugene in the last 23 seasons.
That's crazy. And all right, then
Yeah.
let's fill it up.
That's right. So fill it up at Matthew Knight Arena, But the NIT games are fun. How about women's basketball too, Rob?
Kind of the same thing. The energy's been great, and the crowds have had an impact, even though they haven't been as large as we would see in a Pac-12 game, let's say. But when that pit crew's there and energetic, it makes an impact. And I appreciate the way these crowds have rallied around our teams. And we've got a little sequence going here of men, women, win and get to stay at home. So it's kind of fun, women's game last night, men's game tonight, another women's game Thursday night. So again, if you're gonna opt in to the NIT, you might as well play at a high level, and our teams are doing that right now.
You mentioned the momentum that it can build. I actually talked with Coach Altman for our pregame show this morning. I was over at the arena, and we talked about like Nate Biddle, for example, back-to-back games with career highs in points. I mean, the springboard into next year can be significant.
Significant, and you can just see Nate on the court exuding the confidence, calling for the ball inside, outside. Obviously, Rivaldo's a great energy player, but to see him in this postseason take on a leadership role and do what he's been doing, it is a great springboard. It's another set of experiences, and like you said, you get to be at Matthew Knight Arena, opponents you might not otherwise get to play.
Right.
And you are playing for something, right? You lose and you're done, and tonight you win and you get a chance to go to Vegas.
Yeah. I think about it a lot, what Coach Altman said last year, that wearing Oregon on your chest means a whole heck of a lot, and your season's over if you're done. I love that.
I think you heard kind of either right before or right after the first NIT games, the message that Dana delivered to the team came through loud and clear because we heard it back from the student athletes.
Funny how that happens.
Absolutely, about Oregon on the chest, and then think about all these people in this community and in your life that have supported you for this opportunity. Why wouldn't you want to continue to take advantage of it?
One of the things too, as we now head into postseason, like I've said this a couple times now, like if you're going to play in it, go win the thing, right? Like that's what competitors want to do. I think that's fun to see for both of these teams. A couple more final thoughts on hoops for Rob Mullens. You and I have talked about this before, that being on a selection committee, you've done that. It's very difficult. My
seat's getting hot.
I have said publicly I never want to be on one of these committees.
Yeah. No, it's difficult, and I did have the chance to sit on it for 4 years, and as the chair, you become the target for team number 5, as I like to say. Yeah. So I've had my fair share of emails about what happens in that room, and it's difficult because people always want to lean on consistency or to look at one thing that favors their team. And, when I put on my green and yellow glasses and I look at women's basketball this year specifically, I've got some questions, right?
Sure.
When the NCAA created the NET, the NCAA evaluation tool, that's what NET stands for. Yeah. And they say it's going to, this is their words, not mine, so I'm just talking facts there, that it's a primary sorting tool, and you have a net of 19 because of the way that we scheduled, and in the league that we play in, you expect with 17 wins and a net of 19 you might be in, especially if there's a team with a net of 60 and 19 wins that you might be viewed favorably.
Right.
Might be.
I
think, unfortunately, when things like this happen, then we have to reevaluate how we schedule, because we schedule really difficult to get a net of a 19 for the hope that it'll be evaluated the way we thought that it would be considered. Yeah, it's that. So now we have to step back and reevaluate. Is it better to get 2 more wins against weaker opponents? Is that good for women's basketball?
Right.
Or do we continue on the same path?
What I want to say, you and I are talking about this on the show because it's the first time I've had you on the air since we've had the selection show. But what I love is that women's basketball is not worrying about it. They're just going and playing.
No, they're going and playing, and that's their job, and so is Kelly. And again, listen, everybody who doesn't get in takes a closer look. That's just the way it works. Right. But, we want to maximize those opportunity, and I happen to think, again, with my green and yellow glasses on, that this is an NCAA tournament team proven throughout. I think we played 29 games, a 29-game schedule. So, do we need to do something different to benefit Oregon women's basketball's opportunities to get in, which overall may not be the best thing for women's basketball nationally from a scheduling standpoint.
Yeah, you don't get the marquee games. I actually have had a lot of conversations about this with greater college basketball, that those marquee non-conference games, we just don't get very many of them.
No, you don't. And it's hard to get them, those opponents to come to Eugene. So that's why we're going to San Diego to play those games
events.
or the MTEs. But, again, if we win 2 more games, this isn't this. I get it. You win 2 more league games, and this isn't a debate. But when it's close at the margins, and our job is to do everything we can to help our student athletes achieve their goals. And when you look at something that is a little subjective, but then just like everybody, you start comparing yourself when you're out to those that are last in, and you have some questions. So you control what you can control, and what we can control is how we schedule.
Yeah, it happens every year that there's the 5th team, the 69th team, right? Like, we know that, but especially with 2 bubble teams, I think that everybody in this community, myself included, has really thought a lot about it. And so, but this also, I want to say, this isn't unique to just this off season, right? Like, you're always evaluating.
No, we are. I mean, obviously our league does it on, pretty heavily on the men's side.
Yeah.
I think you probably saw some of Jamie Zaninovich's quotes. Jamie's an expert in college basketball, and you probably saw some of the metrics that he talked about from a league-wide non-conference scheduling standpoint. So, listen, our coaches always schedule really difficult. One, because, they want to challenge themselves. We like to be on that national stage. We're recruiting those kind of players. But, is there a happy middle ground that gets you, again, if the net is not going to be a primary sorting tool, and there's that variance between, call it 20 and 60, is there a fine line or a needle that you need to thread there?
I think it's interesting too, talk about. So I've got the BCS National Championship ball sitting here on the desk. So I'm just reminded of this.
You got a lot of things on the desk.
I know it's a lot. I'll be honest.
If that were my desk, I would be
stressed
stressed out.
Yeah,
I would be too.
My desk at home is very neat and not. But we have so much cool stuff.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not neat. I'm just saying I'm a minimalist,
I'm saying
it would kind of stress me out.
As a minimalist as well, I'm saying it's not neat.
Okay, all right.
I agree with you. But the BCS is reminding me, when the computer analysis came into play in terms of how we rank teams in various sports, that's still a relatively new phenomenon.
No, it is. And again, I know, having been in those rooms, every individual, that's what makes these committees so effective. They all work, and the system works. They're all different. But then when you introduce something that you create, like the net, obviously that's a different conversation. Again, I went back after some conversations and looked. The NCAA website says the net is a primary sorting tool. That's a quote. So, that, again, then we have to control what we can control, and, for us, that's schedule.
And win a few more games in the postseason, and we get to still keep playing.
Yeah, nobody denies you don't need to win a few more games. The question is, do you schedule to make that more feasible when you play in a league that's as difficult as the Pac-12?
Constantly evaluating.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Did we miss anything else on the subject before I close the?
I think we probably went too far. I think I probably went too far. So
I think you're passionate, though.
I am passionate because, when you look at, what our team has accomplished, and I spend a lot of time around these young women and young men, and I know how much it means to them. And, again, I fully get it. I'm sitting here as the Oregon athletic director, and I've got on the green and yellow glasses. So I get it.
But you've also been one, and this is why I think you're such an interesting person to talk to. You're also one that has had to put on the very neutral glasses on those committees. So you have – there aren't very many people that have the perspective that you do.
No, and like I said, I trust the work of those committees. I do. And I think the systems work, both in men's and women's basketball. The CFP is a phenomenal system. So I have full faith and confidence in all of it.
Lastly, I want to say on the air that our friend Lisa Peterson, who is the chairman of the Women's Basketball Selection Committee, she got asked a lot of these questions. She sounded an awful lot like you did when you were the chairman of the CFP committee.
Yeah, she did a great job. It's a tough task.
Tough
job. And, you're one vote. You just happen to be the spokesperson for the committee. So, you take the arrows.
Lisa, you did a great job. I texted her as much right after. I'm sure you did as well.
I did as well.
I would not want to be in that chair. So,
yeah,
well done.
It's a tough assignment.
Yeah, we're going to get timeout, come back, talk a little bit about spring sports coming up, and a whole lot of other topics. Oregon Athletic Director Rob Mullens with us for a few more minutes on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Now's the time to imagine yourself in a new Toyota, like Tundra. Go for a spin, enjoy some off-roading, or build your kids that treehouse you promised them. Hey, they deserve it.
Toyota, let's go places. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Dealer inventory may vary. Event ends April 4th.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Now's the time to imagine yourself in a new Toyota, like Tundra. Go for a spin, enjoy some off-roading, or build your kids that treehouse you promised them. Hey, they deserve it.
Toyota, let's go places. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Dealer inventory may vary. Event ends April 4th.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
Are you thinking about buying medicine online? A search for online pharmacies yields more than 20 million results. But which ones can you trust? Medicines bought from unlicensed online pharmacies can be dangerous. You may get a fake drug, your condition may get worse, or you may experience a bad reaction. Don't put your health at risk. To learn how to find an online pharmacy that's safe and legal, visit fda.gov/BeSafeRx. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy, so we show them how. With honest conversations that let them know what we expect. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be shared with friends or family. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
We're back inside the Country Financial Studio. Duck Insider is presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack and Oregon Athletic Director Rob Mullens joining us. Men's basketball tonight, 6 o'clock at Matthew Knight Arena. Oregon, Wisconsin. Women's basketball on the horizon against San Diego on Thursday as the NIT and the WNIT continue. It's also baseball, softball at home. Everything's going on. Let's hit on the diamond sports if we could. And, Rob, you said green and yellow lenses, so I'm going to break the fourth wall a little bit. We talked to Melyssa Lombardi earlier today. We're all very excited that it's 80s night.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What night?
It's 80s night on Friday.
Oh, wow.
Coach Lombardi, I guess, is a huge fan of the 80s. They're giving away sunglasses.
Okay.
They're not exactly the green and yellow lenses, but there is an O on the side of them.
So is this like a risky business sunglasses?
Yeah.
Is that a good
exactly
80s reference?
That's exactly it.
Okay.
So that's Friday. So softball at home.
Nice. So, get me into the theme. Like, what's Missy like about the 80s? Like the music or the movie? What I mean, well, I'm an 80. I was in high school in the 80s.
Okay, so coming up, Coach Lombardi on the show, she will tell you all about her entire hairstyle of the 80s.
Yeah. If we're going 80s hairstyles, I got nothing for you.
Well, she was very proud of the hair, and so I asked her if it will make a return on Friday stay tuned.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. She also apparently was very into the neon socks.
Okay.
And as the resident sock guy of Oregon athletics, I'm helping her out with some neon Oregon socks.
Nice.
So this is Friday at the Jane. We'll see you there.
Wow. I might have to go sort through.
You got any like good blazers that are 80s style?
You know, I was just trying to think. I graduated from high school in '87. Parachute pants were kind of in. So you know, there's a great 1980-something song, country song that really totally references growing up because it starts in the '70s and Stretch Armstrong and Evel Knievel and Parachute Pants.
All right.
You know, so tell them to get that on the playlist.
I got it.
For the '80s night Friday night.
Okay. Now
I think it's Craig Morgan is the musician.
Anybody that does carpool karaoke then with Rob Mullins, now you know. Now you know the selection to make, right? You've done those before.
I did do it with Marcus Harper and Tahina Pow Pow. It was a lot of fun, although, you know, they've got some work to do to catch up on the country music genre, I'll say. They were phenomenal hosts. I was glad they kept it between the lines. I didn't need a car accident while we're carpool karaoke with student athletes, but it was fun.
Yeah, that's the other duty as assigned.
It was a whole lot of fun.
That's great. Well, yeah. So softball at home this weekend. You talk about scheduling tough.
Yeah.
The Pac-12 does that on its own.
No doubt, and you know, you know, softball and baseball both. Softball plays in those preseason tournaments, whether it's in, you know, the desert or Mexico, and you're just running into. In fact, I just looked at the polls today, and the number of non-conference opponents that we played that were in the top 20, in addition to Stanford's top 6, UCLA's top 3 or 4, Washington's top 10. You know, this league is incredible.
I just want to make sure that we get the right carpool karaoke song. Mark Wills. Sings 19-something.
Oh,
we got you. But don't worry, I got you covered.
Appreciate it.
I got you covered. I knew the song.
I did too. Sorry. Sorry, Mark Wills, if you're listening.
Now we know. But yeah, so add it to the playlist if it's not already in there on Friday night. I like this. Then baseball at home. Northwestern State this weekend. What a weekend on the Palouse for Oregon baseball.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
Emotional roller coaster.
No, yeah. But, you know, that just shows you what a great job Waz does and just staying in the game. I mean, if you give up a 7 spot in the first, some teams may hang their heads, but our team didn't. They just went back to work and turned out great.
Mark Wasikowski also was in the dugout. I'm curious to see if he does that this weekend. I'm going to talk to him about that. They scored a bunch of runs, the Ducks did, when Marcus Hinkle coached third, and in very baseball fashion, the Ducks stuck with it.
There you go.
Hey, sometimes it works.
Is Waz going to break out an 80s hairdo on Friday?
I don't know. It's not 80s night as far as I know against Northwestern State on Friday.
I thought we were going department theme here.
We could.
Okay.
I mean, you know, I'll bring it up with the crew.
Okay.
You know, I'm not in those meetings. I just am here to promote, you know, the free 300 sunglasses that we're giving away at the Jane. So,
Risky Business was a great movie.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to try them on, feel free.
Yeah, I mean, these are total.
Those fit. Those fit.
Oh yeah, I'm in.
I mean, you know, actually, it helps in the studio with the lights. I wonder if I should have sunglasses available at all times in here. The lights are. I just made the mistake of looking at them, and now I'm seeing spots. I did want to ask you, Rob, too, about beach volleyball. Jason Dillard's going to be with us. They're at home on Thursday at 2:00. Don't get a lot of home ones.
They don't, and obviously difficult conditions and no home facility. That is a priority for us. We have raised some money. We've been working both with the city of Eugene and the campus to find a site where we can get these young women a home court, which, you know, is a priority for us, and we will figure that out. But, you know, trying to find that site is not as easy as it might seem. So I know Lisa did a lot of work on that. Jody Sykes has taken that on. But really appreciate what Jason and that team is doing, you know, with very few home contests and really having to practice off campus. So, you know, our hope is in the near term we can find a site, build them something, and then we can take that program to the next step.
Thursday at 2:00 against Corbin. So if you're driving around Amazon Park and you see what looks like an Oregon athletics competition, it is an Oregon athletics competition.
And those young women deserve our support. You know, they're great Ducks. They work really hard, and I'm proud of how they represent us.
We have a number of other sports that I could ask you about, but I've only got you for 2 more minutes, so I'm going to hit track and field.
Okay.
Because we've had so many great events at the new version of Hayward Field, but there was something magical to me about it being an Oregon event, the Oregon preview, the outdoor season. Like, I don't know, it felt nostalgic to me almost last weekend.
It did, and then when you put the youth element that was in there on Friday night, you know, so many in this community have a memory of being at Hayward Field, either at an all-comers meet or at an OSAA high school meet or as part of something like that. So I appreciate Jerry, Nate, Josh, all putting that together to kind of, rekindle that, because that's important in this community. We've always said, Hayward Field is a community jewel, and, Jerry's connected to that, understands the importance, and we'll build off of that.
Final thoughts for Rob Mullins. Spring game, April 29th. Tickets of the, shall we say, the most affordable variety of the season tickets are going quickly, I understand. That's a good sign.
It is a good sign, and, fill it up for the spring game. It's always a fun event. Obviously, we do some work with Food for Lane County, great partners. So, yeah, let's fill it up. It's a fun event. We're going to have some other events in and around that day as well. So you can start with the spring game. I think you can spill over to PK Park. Yep. Great day to come out and just kind of have an Oregon day.
The annual How Fast Can Joey Sprint from the sideline at Autzen to the broadcast booth at PK Park makes its triumphant return.
Oh, did Kelly get a sponsor for that yet?
I don't know. I hope not.
Molasses?
Probably. That would be good. That would be a great sponsorship. I mean, sometimes, Rob, they're just right there, and it's just the easiest thing.
I know. Okay. I just gave it to her.
That's great. So we got to have a molasses candy something partnership. Right?
Oh, it would just be awesome.
Yeah, we my record is like 2 minutes and 4 seconds, I think.
Oh wow!
And so I start at the goalpost and I sprint up the tunnel. How many strollers I dodge, we're not going to get into that. But getting up the stairs, I get a little winded at the top of the PK Park stairs. I'll be honest with you.
Okay.
So the broadcast open one time was me
you
very
can take my
out
scooter.
of breath. I would love that. Yeah, the scooters are all over the place these days. So, anyway, that makes its triumphant return in one of the most unathletic things that we talk about.
We got to get that on video.
Oh, well, now that I think about this, we could put a GoPro on my head if Scott wants.
Oh, wow.
I'm just afraid that I'm going to be like dodging between people and it's not going to be good. So.
Well, that's what the fans want to see. So what's not good for you is good for clicks.
Hey, I'm happy for that. I'm here to support the whole team.
Oh, yes, you're all about the kids.
Team. Lastly, we've got a new president coming in.
Yeah, we do. Can't wait to have President Schultz on board. I had the honor and privilege of serving on the search committee. So obviously had the opportunity to see him in that process. And got to spend a little time with him when he was here. Obviously, ironically, we're playing Wisconsin tonight. His most recent stop was at Wisconsin in a number of leadership roles. He was a Division III student athlete, so connection there. And really excited. Appreciate the work that interim president Patrick Phillips did, and now with interim president Jamie Moffitt in the role until July 1st. So excited to get President Schultz on board.
It'll be another few weeks before we have you on, so open floor. Anything we miss, anything you want to say?
No, again, I just appreciate the fans and the support that they give to our student athletes in our program. And, we do have a few more opportunities, hopefully, here at Matthew Knight Arena for men's and women's basketball. So let's fill it up. And then, we've got plenty of other opportunities, as you said, whether it's PK or the Jane, to come out and support our student athletes.
A lot going on. Lacrosse is on the road. Pac-12 season is here. Men's and women's golf are underway. We got both tennis teams in action.
Lots of opportunity.
Monday is a great day for me because I can just review the entire weekend and the show's over. Monday's a good day in my realm. Rob, thanks for being here.
All right, good to see you.
Really appreciate it. Enjoy 80s night.
The wheels are spinning.
The wheels are spinning. I like it.
Is Missy going to have white rain hairspray kind of?
I'm in for that.
All right. All right.
Feel free, on your way.
I may just go check it out. Yeah.
So when we come back, on that note, Melyssa Lombardi, we talked to her earlier today, all about 80s night and a really competitive series against Stanford. Let's not sell that short either. We have fun, but also great competition at the Jane on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
You're listening to Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
We all make choices about alcohol. Kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad. Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Hey, remind me about that party again?
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations, and they want honest answers in everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path, because when you talk, they hear you. Learn more at underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Meet Ed, movie buff, animal lover, safe driver.
5 years of driving an ambulance teaches you a thing or two. If people knew what I know, lives could be saved. When I see a car trying to rush past a turning bus, I get concerned. You see, when big vehicles turn right, they have to swing wide to make the turn. And that's a lesson you don't want to learn the hard way. When trucks and buses turn, let's you and I wait.
It's our roads. It's our safety. Visit www.sharetheroadsafely.gov.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack at the Country Financial Studio. Every Tuesday, we talk with Oregon softball head coach Melyssa Lombardi. Coach, what a weekend. I just want to start here, okay? What a hyper-competitive softball series at Jane Sanders Stadium. You know, I like to have you look back before we look ahead. What do you think of the weekend generally?
I would agree. I loved our crowds. I loved our fans. They came out and they fought for us and cheered for us and just really got into it. I hate that we fell on the wrong side of 2 of the 3 games. I thought we could have easily, been on the right side of those games, but it just didn't go our way. But I love how we fought. We fought to the very end. That's the one thing I really like about this team, is that as long as we have outs and we have innings, we're never, ever out of a game.
Yeah. We've seen you come back a few times this year, haven't we?
Yeah.
So tell us about Friday. I mean, you start, the energy's amazing in the building. It sure felt that way. Take us through Friday.
Yes. Good energy. It was just unbelievable to be at home. We've been waiting to be at home.
How about that?
Yep, for a long time. And just needed a little more and just couldn't quite get enough.
Then Saturday, though, you get to that game. You snapped their streak.
Yeah.
What was that feeling like? And you had some clutch moments throughout that game.
Yeah, had some big clutch moments throughout the game. Offensively, loved watching Bunk do her thing. Defensively, I thought Morgan threw a great game, 7 innings, to give us opportunity to win. So to me, I think that's when we're at our best, is when all 3 are doing, what we need to do. Offense, defense, and pitching, and you could really see that on Saturday. I mean, all the way down to the last play
right.
with Paige, gets a little snow cone catch on that slap that could have possibly dropped in, and a run would have, tied the ball game up.
Yeah,
so
I got to tell you, so I was running around that day between venues, so I was listening to our buddy Ryan, and Ryan's call of it was great. Just the emotion, you could hear, the entire ballpark just erupts. I mean, that's that home feeling.
Yes.
Right?
That's the Lion's Den that I got introduced to when I was an opponent.
Yeah.
And now love it being a Duck.
Yeah, I hear that. How good was Morgan Scott? I mean, and what worked so well for her?
What I really liked, obviously her pace. She moves quickly, but that she just really had great command. She throws the ball hard, has good movement, but her command is, to me, what was key in her getting that victory and in going the full 7 innings.
Yeah. Sunday. Walk us through it.
Same thing, tough. Just another tough game. We come out, we jump ahead. I loved how Stevie was throwing. Loved how we scored quickly. We got into a little bit of trouble, and just again, at the end, looking to see if we could pull it out, and just we're not able to.
That's what happens when you get all these good teams playing each other, though, right? Like you and I have talked about this so much that in the Pac-12, every weekend's going to be this way. How valuable is the experience even in a loss in a close game like these?
Really valuable. Really valuable. I mean, the type of games that we are in every single time we step out on the field, it's postseason. I really loved what Hannah Delgado did this weekend. I thought that was her, to come up and to be able to power slap and then to chop slap. Just that what we got to see from her is what she's really, really good at, and which is great. We need her, and we're going to continuing to need her moving forward. So I loved what she did.
She's hitting 444 in conference games, hit 500 this weekend. It's safe to say we're seeing more of what she was going to be before she got hurt early in the season.
Yeah, definitely. You're just definitely seeing Hannah-like things, and we need that from her.
It seems like a real spark plug, when she's doing that. Just the type of player she is. How accurate is that?
No, very accurate. She also had a big catch she almost came up with in center field, and she's just a big part of what we do. So I was really excited to see her this weekend.
Allie Bunker, I'm going to ask you probably every week.
Yep, which is great. I hope you do continue.
Yeah, if we have a week where I don't ask about Allie Bunker, then we're going to have to reevaluate the way the interviewer does his job, because she's that consistent.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know. Just anything new with Allie Bunker this week? What'd you see? What'd you like?
She's just got this look. She's got this look in her eyes, and she just refuses. She comes out ready to compete every single game, every single pitch, from the start to the finish, and she wants nothing less than for us to win. And I love it.
It's been interesting, for me to watch the way that she approaches each at bat. I think that every athlete can have a tendency to overswing, or you get too tense in the moment. How is it that she never does that? I never see her do that. Is that fair to say?
She's just cool. She's cool in what she does. She's experienced. She's an elder, and that's what elders are supposed to do.
Can you coach that, or is that just people have that cool factor? I don't know. Does experience lead to it? How do you handle that as a coach?
Yeah, I think there's some athletes that just they have it, and they've had it their whole career. I think there's other athletes that as they continue to be put in tough situations and play tough schedules, you just understand how to go about things different than maybe earlier in your career. And I think that's just what you're seeing with Bunk, is she knows what she needs to do.
Yeah. Melyssa Lombardi joining us, Oregon softball head coach. We got a lot coming this weekend. Basically, every series from here on out is a top 25 series. Ducks number 18 in the latest poll today, 11th in the RPI, 8th in the strength of schedule rankings, and now number 3 UCLA comes to town this weekend. 6 o'clock on Friday, Saturday at 7 o'clock, and then noon on Sunday. Tell us about the Bruins.
Yeah, just tough. They're in the top of our conference. They're really good at what they do. They pitch well. They hit well. They've got power. They also have got short game, and they play really good defense. They're just, again, I feel like I keep describing the opponent each weekend. I keep saying the same thing.
I think we should do, so this is what my mind goes to, supercuts, right? I think that I ask you that question almost every week. Okay, what are we going to see this week? I think we should do a supercut of all your answers to see how consistent. But that's the Pac-12.
That's the Pac. The Pac is really, really good.
And I'd imagine all of your colleagues across the conference, we would probably be able to do a very similar supercut, right? Did I ask her about UCLA this week, and we play 5 different ones, right? And maybe all of your colleagues are saying the same. What is your assessment of the Pac-12 now, I guess, is my ultimate question through this point in the season.
It's just I just think every team's got it. Every team is really good, and that's to me, that's what I think is so great about our league, is that every single weekend we get to play excellent teams.
Yeah.
I think sometimes you could play a schedule that isn't like that and rack up the wins and have all these statistical numbers and whatnot, but then when it comes time in the end for postseason, you're not ready. This team is battle tested, and we're going into weekend 3 and we're battle tested. If we had to go to postseason right now, we would be ready.
It's interesting. At what point, you're always thinking about week to week, right? But then me sitting in my chair, I do start thinking about, okay, well, postseason, like where do things stack up? Like people like me, fans, like we love to play that game, of just how it stacks up. But that's what the committee's ultimately doing all throughout the season, right? Like that's why you have the Pac-12 and have the committee that's able to figure all these things out for you. And you hope that it works in your favor, but also 8th strength of schedule speaks for itself right now, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
I want to talk a little bit more about the fun things this weekend. So, okay, on Friday, it's 80s night. First 300 fans get free sunglasses. Have you seen the sunglasses?
No.
Okay, I haven't. Greg Walker's here. Have you seen them? Okay, I have not seen the sunglasses either. I'm very excited to see the 80s sunglasses, and I have to ask, you said this before we went on the air, like you're excited for Friday night.
Yes, I was an 80s kid. I grew up as an 80s kid. I loved the 80s. I had the big spiral perm. Yes. I had the big bangs, and I could look at pictures right now, and you'd think I'd say, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? I would go, my hair looked really good in that picture. Like I'm proud of my hair and how hard I worked and how big it was. I wore the neon socks. I did it all. I loved it.
Can all of that come back for Friday? How could I convince you to do that?
I don't know.
How much work does it take to get that hairstyle?
It takes a lot.
Yeah,
takes a lot.
More than a coach has time for.
Yeah.
Neon socks, though.
Yep.
I might be able to help you with that.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, neon socks. I've got a pair of Oregon neon socks if you want to borrow them for the weekend.
I could borrow them for the weekend.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm going to make a note of that. These things are fun, though, right? It makes it a fun environment for fans.
For sure. I want our fans to come and watch us play against top-notch opponents and watch really, really good softball. I also want them to enjoy the music. I want them to enjoy the things in between innings and to bring their families and their kids. Love coming to the ballpark. But then also I want them there because, they're a part of us. And it's amazing what they do for us when we hear them roar and our athletes love when they hit the bottom of the bleachers. They love it.
Yeah.
They love it. So it's just we want them to come and enjoy and have a great experience, but also little do they know, I think they know how important that they are to us.
Makes a huge difference. Like you see the dugout light up at times.
They love it.
That's what I love about watching the interaction between student athletes and fans. Speaking of that, like Signature Saturday on Saturday, Sunday Fun Day, it's kids-themed promotions. Kids run the bases on Sunday. And then senior spotlight throughout the course of the season. You've seen it on social media. You've seen it at Jane Sanders Stadium now. Allie Bunker. Well, we've been talking about Allie. We're going to be doing that all year long for Allie Bunker. What else should fans know, Coach? Just what's on your mind heading into the weekend?
Just that we need you. It's going to be a big, big weekend for us, and we need you. We need you to come and be loud for us and, help create momentum from the dugout in the stands. I know this group is excited to play UCLA at home and in front of our fans, so just keep coming. We hear you. We hear you, and we love it.
Limited tickets left, but as of this recording, there are tickets left. We're talking Tuesday morning because the Ducks are practicing in the afternoon. There is a ticket special on GoDucks.com/tickets. It will go fast. UCLA coming to town. All broadcasts on Pac-12 Network and on KWVA. Coach, thanks for the time. I'll get you the socks.
Okay.
What else can we do? Is the coaching staff, do they need anything? They need socks?
I don't know.
Do they need hairdo? I don't know.
I don't know. I'll have to check in with them.
Okay.
So
let's reconvene.
But I definitely could use the socks.
Okay, Thursday or Friday, come back to Duck Insider. We'll have updates on 80s night. Coach, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Really appreciate it. Big weekend at the Jane coming up. When we come back, women's basketball, they're still playing. Postseason hoops continue. Breaking it all down next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Now's the time to imagine yourself in a new Toyota, like Tundra. Go for a spin, enjoy some off-roading, or build your kids that treehouse you promised them. Hey, they deserve it.
Toyota, let's go places. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Dealer inventory may vary. Event ends April 4th.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Now's the time to imagine yourself in a new Toyota, like Tundra. Go for a spin, enjoy some off-roading, or build your kids that treehouse you promised them. Hey, they deserve it.
Toyota, let's go places. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Dealer inventory may vary. Event ends April 4th.
This is Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
I've been driving trucks for a long time, and safety is my #1 priority. I know that my truck has huge blind spots. That's why I remember to check my mirrors often for smaller vehicles. Everyone can help keep our roads safe. Next time you're behind the wheel, try to avoid lingering in those blind spots. It can be dangerous. Let's all plan to share the road safely. Learn how at www.sharetheroadsafely.gov.
I found hope in the midst of an overwhelming situation.
Alcoholism is a disease that can affect any family. Everyone suffers, but there is help and hope at Al-Anon Family Groups.
Al-Anon gave me my life back. I'm a better father and husband.
Are you in an overwhelming situation because of someone else's drinking? Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Local and virtual meetings are available. Maybe one could work for you. Call 1-866-200-0033 or visit alanon.org/hope.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, Duck Insider presented by On Point Community Credit Union. The Ducks were up 3 at halftime. Then the Oregon women's basketball team broke open Monday's second-round WNIT game in the third quarter. They won 78-53 over Rice, 2,591 fans at Matthew Knight Arena. Ducks are now 19-14, up 41-38 early in the third before closing the quarter on a 16-2 run. They really pulled away. I thought Grace Van Slooten was just amazing in the third quarter. That's how good she can be. And you talk about a springboard like we were just discussing with Nate Biddle. The springboard now for Grace Van Slooten maybe into next year could really be significant. She scored 13 of her 17 points in the second half. The Oregon women followed up a blowout of North Dakota State with really a pretty comfortable win over Rice. Ducks will now host San Diego in the third round of the WNIT at Matthew Knight Arena on Thursday at 6 p.m. And again, 5:30 pregame show with Terry Johns and Bev Smith. It will also be on the Oregon live stream as postseason play continues for Oregon women's basketball. Kelly Graves, he met with the media postgame, I think pretty happy with his team's performance.
But we got the message ultimately, and that was a great game. I mean, we had some really good individual performances. I mean, Philly, my goodness sakes, she was a force in the middle. And, Tahina continued to shoot it well. India had a nice game. Chance played well. And I thought Grace was an entirely different player in that second half. I just thought her energy and production changed the game, along with Chance's defense.
Creating better opportunities to score in the second half or just finishing better?
Both. You could tell she just had a little bit more intensity to her.
Was that in part by something that was said at halftime to her, or did she just?
You can ask her. Yeah. No, I mean, we kind of challenged all of them, at half. But you could tell we just weren't connected like we needed to be, and we weren't as intense as we should be.
Were you trying at 11-3? You then took a lot of really rapid shots. Were you trying to create an insurmountable lead in the first 7 minutes and then go from there?
Well, don't you always? I mean.
If you don't have the talent disparity, you can't plan to do that against a different team, Kevin. So I'm asking in that.
Yeah, I don't understand the question, to be honest with you. I mean, we built an early lead, which was great. Yeah, we're going to keep trying to play. It was not like I don't understand the question.
What I was getting at was in that 5 or 6 minute span when you did have a healthy lead in the first quarter, you went from shooting within the first 10 seconds of the shot clock to not doing that again until much later. How much of that was a conscious decision that strategically you were?
Yeah, none of it. I thought in the first quarter, quite frankly, we settled too much for quick threes. I mean, we took 10 threes in that first quarter, and that's, too many for anybody, really, certainly too many for us. No, and credit them. They adjusted, defended a little bit better, and let's face it, we had some pretty good looks and some shots around the rim that just didn't go. But I mean, what we shoot in the second half? 12 free throws. We only took 1 in the first half. I mean, it was everything. We weren't forcing turnovers. We weren't playing aggressive. We were settling for threes, and then it just changed second half. We diversified the attack inside out and defended much better. I'm sorry, James. I don't really understand that.
What's Philly's
question.
potential as a shot blocker, as a rim protector? kind of long term?
Yeah, well, you know, I think she's got a ton of potential. She showed it tonight. Now, you know, she's got to continue to get better and not just, you know, swipe down at it, you know, because that's not going to work a lot of nights. But, yeah, if she can be in there to roam the, you know, the paint and protect the rim, then we're in pretty good shape. Because there was a time tonight we may have been the smallest team in Division I history. I mean, we had Elise, Tahina, Chance, and India on the court along with Philly. So, you know, that's just, you know, thank goodness she was getting every rebound because that's a pretty small team.
Speaking of Philly, just how important is your size going to be going forward in this tournament with Philly and now with Grace back?
Well, at this point, there's not going to be a lot of teams that are going to be able to match her, you know, with, you know, I to be honest with you, I haven't looked at the bracket. I don't know who's coming necessarily and when we might play them, but I can't believe a lot of teams are going to have that kind of size. Yeah, she's been impressive so far in two tournament games, so it's great to see.
What was tonight different for her? Because I think her career high was like 3 or 4 blocks coming in, and then she had 8 and was really active.
Well, they challenged her. Yeah, they challenged her a lot, so that made a difference. And I think she's just kind of getting better and learning how to use her body. I think off the ball, she's really good at shot blocking. She's not as good on her player, but she keeps getting better, you guys. She kind of hit a lull at some point in the season, but looks like she's picking it back up.
Obviously, all of these teams that you're facing made it to the NIT
Yep.
or the WNIT for a reason. They're really, really good teams. But what do you think about just the Pac-12 conference play and how competitive it was? It's kind of prepared this team to really elevate against maybe some of these other teams that are good teams, but you guys are just dominating.
Well, I mean, we play in a really, really good conference, so it makes you better. Iron sharpens iron, so to speak. It hasn't been a great NCAA tournament for the conference right now, so we're hoping that we can, you know, have a deep run of our own and, you know, and have some success. I think right now, by the time we play next, there's only going to be 16 teams left in the NCAA field, and we're still playing, so that's fun, and our kids are excited, and you know, that's in a tournament setting, so. You know, losing you're done, and win you continue on. So this is kind of cool. It's going to be a great experience for Chance and Grace and Philly and all those kids coming back.
Is there a chance for Kennedy to come back on Thursday?
I sure hope so. Yeah, she actually played on the a little bit today. You know, just nothing live, nothing full contact, but she was actually on the court and kind of, you know, at shoot around working on their stuff. You know, so that's something. That's good. Yeah, those concussions, you just never know. I leave that to the medical staff. I trust them, and they'll do what's best for her.
I was curious, Kelly, if you'd seen what Dana had said after their Pac-12 tournament loss regarding shooting and improving in the offseason for next year. His comments about if you shoot under 35%, that doesn't make sense for you to shoot, and that you will be allowed to shoot. You have a short team. You have to tolerate some things this year. Short by way of roster number of players. Yeah. What will be your outlook as you go about an offseason where you can already contact players who are in the portal? How will you go about doing that so that certain percentages will not have as much liberty, perhaps, to shoot as often as they do at the moment?
Well, you know, shooting is a tricky thing coming from a shooter, you know. If you think about it too much or, you know, sometimes it doesn't work for you. You got to have a short memory, right, and move on. The kids that shoot threes for us, I'm confident in them. Some nights they don't shoot well. Sometimes they've had tough stretches throughout the year. But if they're shooting for us, then we have confidence in them. I'm not going to put a percentage, 35%. I mean, that's pretty good for anybody. But
it is pretty good for anybody, isn't it? Kelly Graves, some of his thoughts there after the victory. Ducks are back in action again on Thursday. When we come back, looking around Oregon athletics, the schedule ahead. It's a busy one on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Medicaid and CHIP offer free or low-cost health coverage for children and teens. Hospital and doctor visits, prescriptions, shots, and more are covered. That's peace of mind for parents if a child is sick or gets injured. And parents may now be eligible for Medicaid too, even if they've applied in the past. Enrollment is always open. Visit insurekidsnow.gov or call 1-877-KIDS-NOW. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
The United States Deputy Sheriff's Association is a national nonprofit and the largest non-governmental provider of services to law enforcement. The USDSA assists city, county, state, and federal agencies with free safety equipment donations and officer survival training, along with cash donations to families of law enforcement officers who perish in the line of duty, college scholarships for the children of law enforcement, a citizen awareness program, and more. For more information on the USDSA and how you can help, visit usdeputy.org.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, Duck Insider presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Kelly Graves brought to you by the Oregon, well, I should say, brought to you by Willamette Valley Cancer Institute Research Center. Fight like a duck with exceptional cancer care close to home. And I was about to say, the Oregon best you can ask for with WVCI. Rob Mullens was great today. Fabulous. I mean, outstanding. Heading into a great weekend of Oregon athletics with tons of home events. We've got basketball tonight. We have women's basketball coming up on Thursday. Game day, Ducks, Wisconsin, 6 o'clock, Matthew Knight Arena, 5:30 pregame show here on the Oregon Sports Network. Pretty cool that Wisconsin is coming to town. I like that the NIT gives the opportunity for that. But Rob Mullens was excellent today, and we now have something that will forever live in the Duck Insider archives. I mean, he loves the shades. First 300 fans are going to get the sunglasses at the Jane. They're not bad. I like them. I'm a fan. They really do cut out the lights. We're on to something, guys. See you for a 5:30 pregame tonight. See ya.
You're never completely ready to adopt a teen.
For late nights writing English papers.
For your teen's music taste.
For dinners, where they talk more on their phone than with you.
For the first time, they call you Mom.
You're never completely ready to adopt a teen, and you can't imagine the reward.
To learn more about adopting a teen, visit adoptuskids.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human